what's up you guys? It's Jaded and welcome to another Farmin Fridays. This one got a little delayed, obviously. Between putting all the monk videos together and just needing some me time, a little time off here and there, things got a little delayed. But what I wanted to go over with you guys this Farmin Friday, talk about is the act of doing what you love. And doing what you love, whether that's for money, as your job, whether that's in your free time, but just pursuing something that you're really passionate about. It could be anything, it could be knitting, making rocking chairs for children, like it could be, whatever it may be, scuba diving. Maybe you're really passionate about animals and you want to do something in that field. But just the idea behind doing what you love. This is something that I've been really focused on, especially in probably my last 5 years. When I was growing up, I was always like the artistic kid. You always get labeled something, or people always think that you're really good at something in your small little community, whether that's school or your family or whatever, because there's just not a lot of people to compare yourself to. So you're always gonna excel at one thing. It was really just because I like to draw. I didn't draw anything spectacular. I wasn't like amazing. Some of my earliest stuff was just me copying cartoons, just looking at whatever cartoon, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Cow and Chicken, Rocko's Modern Life, like so many cartoons. I would just pick a character out and basically copy it. And that was some of the earliest forms of me getting into just learning about creativity. Throughout high school, I looked into so much other artistic stuff. I always took art classes as well as computer classes too. I was always into, gaming. I got way into gaming throughout my whole life as well. And then I'd always pursue like artistic stuff, whether that was photography, way back even when people used to actually develop film in like a black room. I did some of that in high school. I took a few jewelry crafting courses, metalworking, stuff like that, woodworking, anything that I could explore creativity in. I was all over that. And I think that stems from something that a lot of people, I think it's in everybody, not creativity necessarily, not everybody is good at drawing, right? But I think there's something in everyone where they want to create, whether that's making food, writing books, or, anything like construction, building houses, plumbing. Maybe you're way into like plumbing and how that all works and helping people do that. But I think it stems from everybody likes to create stuff that people can use or appreciate. Some people just like creating YouTube videos, and that has such a wide audience now. Anything can really go up on YouTube. Maybe you're just way into health and you want to teach people about health, but you're creating videos about information. I think a lot of people just like the idea of creating something. I think it's way powerful to go and start from scratch. You have nothing there and you get these ideas in your head. It's so powerful to go from this idea in your head to actually having something tangible that you did. You created that. There's nothing more satisfying than that. And that's been really priority for me lately. I made a lot of sacrifices in other areas of my life to pursue doing what I'm way into. And it's grown into this YouTube thing as of late. I have to say it's been a really bumpy ride. And there's ups and downs. There's, sticking to doing YouTube is like, it really takes a lot out of you, because when you're going into it, you don't realize how long something like this can take to develop, how long it can take to build people with similar interests, and everybody's gonna have a different experience when creating a YouTube channel. But for me and for a lot of people, even people who are way popular, they went a year, 2 years without having really that big of an audience or that big of people to share your passion with. So it can definitely be very demanding on how much willpower you have to pursue this thing. There's been many times where I've just wanted to throw in the towel and be like, all right, is this really what I want to do? You know, like that question's come up so many times for me. Is this really what you want to do with your life? Because that's a very scary question to ask for a lot of people. And you'll find that the majority of people can't hang with that idea. You know, can you make it doing what you love? I think nearly everybody wishes they could pursue that. And so that's something that's just really going to test you as a person. And it's going to make you question whether I think it's good to build character, whether you're really into this one thing. That's something that I've just been trying to figure out myself, you know. After I got out of college, or I guess after I dropped out of college, I went to the Art Institute for a while, and I ended up dropping out. And ever since then, I've been asking myself, like, what do I really want to do? I've been way into games, way into artistic stuff, and narrowing it down to something that you're really, really passionate about takes a long time. For a while, I got obsessed with digital painting, and I really wanted a Wacom tablet, and like nothing would stop me. So eventually I got one, and you know, I tried it for a long time, tried looking up, you know, tutorials and getting into art books and looking at tons of DeviantArt stuff. Like for a while, digital painting was something I thought could be something I did for the rest of my life. And so you have to like explore these areas, and that just, honestly, it just takes time. So after a while of trying it out, I realized, okay, I don't want to be a digital painter, but now I know. And again, it just takes time to go in and explore these things. Being a digital painter 20 years ago wasn't a thing, but now, you know, there's a ton of people doing this. So that's something you have to keep in mind. But also, I mean, there are jobs that people create on their own. I have a friend of mine who started observing StarCraft. Maybe you've heard of him, Adebisi. This guy makes a living at being a StarCraft observer, and there are other people who make a living at streaming video games. There are other people who make a living at, you know, YouTube and these other avenues that we didn't have 20 years ago. So moving on now to something that has kind of always bugged me is the idea of selling out. Like the idea that people have when someone sells out. You know, when you see people on YouTube, for example, say there's a guy who loves making League of Legends videos, and you're watching his stuff, and he's promoting something at the beginning or the end or whenever, and say he's promoting like Razer products, or he's promoting a video game coming out or a movie trailer, and I see a lot of people react to that and go, you sold out. You sold out to this big corporation now who owns you or something. Like, more often than not, the guy who says you sold out, in that situation, the guy who said that sold out to a 9-to-5 job and is no longer pursuing his dream, no longer is doing what he wants. You know, he's climbing the corporate ladder at Target or whatever. He's being suppressed by that company. He can't, you know, there's no creativity there. There's nothing for him to explore. He just goes and works at the desk at, you know, a cubicle and does his job that's the same every day. And that guy's not growing as an individual. He's not becoming a better person. And that to me is selling out. And that to me is something that's absolutely terrifying. The idea that my life's just going to be absorbed by this job that I have to keep doing day in, day out, just to pay for a car I don't really care about, to pay for a house I don't really care about, and all these things that we think are necessary in our lives. And, you know, I understand when people get caught up in that scenario. We think, like, that's how you're supposed to live your life. You know, when you get out of high school, you go do your job and all that. So I understand when people fall into that scenario. You know, it's very easy just to say this is what people do, and then you do it, and you never end up like really pursuing what you want to do. I found this really great inspirational video recently. It's been around for a while. You maybe have seen it, but I'll go ahead and put it in the description for those who want to check it out. The idea behind it, or I guess what they want to say behind it, is you have to want to succeed at something so much that nothing else matters. You have to want it like you want to breathe. And you know, it's a very powerful thing to hear it in that way. And I definitely recommend going and watching it, because it, you know, it's gonna say that point better than I could ever say it. But I really love watching stuff like that. You know, watching stuff that inspires you, just gets you amped up to go and do what you like doing, whether that's creating videos or making music. And honestly, I don't know where this YouTube thing is going to lead me. I have no idea. I never really had an idea, and that's kind of the scariest thing when you're out like working for yourself, trying to make it on your own, is yeah, you really have no idea of what is to come. But I've always known from the start that this is something that I needed to pursue, even if it doesn't work out for me for whatever reason. You know, there's just not enough people interested in sharing the same thing that I love, whatever it may be. At least knowing that you tried and gave it your best, that's something really, really important in my opinion. And you know, this may lead to something else, something bigger, something different than just doing YouTube videos all the time. I could tell you every time I put together a video, there's this thing that happens where I kind of despise doing commentary because I know I'm not very good at it, and I just make a lot of mistakes and all that. So it's kind of a process that takes a lot more effort on my part. But every time I end up in Photoshop, whether it's making thumbnails or doing, you know, graphics for a title screen or something, but almost without fail, I'll find myself in there way too long and realize like I need to finish up and get done. And that started very early on. If you go and look at my very first video, it was like this really shoddy StarCraft tips and tricks video, and I put together this replay cover up graphic, you know, that everyone does, where it covers up the replay bar so you can't see how long is left. And this was back way before people were doing like UI overlays. You know, that's the really big thing now for streamers and tournaments, is doing these like really nice graphical UI interfaces, kind of changing the UI of the game in a way. That's something that you know, I had an idea for even back when I was playing Lineage 2. You know, before YouTube even had HD, right? Like a long time ago. But even with that simple replay graphic, you know, I was in there for hours just working on that thing, and it'll probably never get seen again. You know, I made that one StarCraft video and that was it. I thought I was going to do a lot more. But even small stuff like that, it lets me know that I'm on the right track and that I really do love doing this. It's pretty impossible to know like where life's going to take you, where your jobs are going to take you, but as long as you're doing what you love and you're pursuing that and you're putting all your energy into that, it's going to grow into something special, I guarantee it. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, as always. This turned out a bit longer than I thought it would be, but maybe some of you guys will enjoy that. But anyways, I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.